on our weekend morning. Like me, I was just thinking that I will sleep a little late, but of course, this one is, being, attending the Toastmasters meeting is always the priority and the happy thing. So here we all are. I will start the beginning. I will start the meeting with the with the words. I think I don't need to repeat the rules that we have as online participants. We keep our mic mute until it is our turn to speak, and we avoid talking about the things like politics, religion, and sex. And with this, I would hand over the charge to our president, DTM Tala bin Hamid. Always, a dynamic personality. And yeah, so over to you, DTM Tala.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amra Yudis, and everyone. Thank you for joining this, as Pastor Amra put it, the sequel to our Wednesday meeting. So this time we tried something new because we had originally 8 projects planned, and we could not fit them all with evaluations within the short duration that we have there. So we tried this, that we would shift the evaluations to this particular session, and it would be easy for everyone. So that said, of course, everything is nothing is final, and we've received some feedback as well. So one of the proposals is that we could have, if we have more speeches, we could have a speaker-thon every second or third meeting or once a month instead of doing this. So that also makes a lot of sense because, of course, not having evaluations within the same meeting affects the integrity of the meeting. But evaluations are, after all, part of Toastmasters structure. So let me just try to call our first evaluator, and in the meantime, Toastmaster Imran is there, and he will be evaluating Toastmaster Umar Khayyam's speech. So, over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, confirm me my audibility and visibility.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, so you're the general evaluator, or there is no general evaluator? Okay.
Just start, yeah. He will say.
Okay, so thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As we all know, Toastmaster Umar Khayyam is very inspiring and quite a dedicated Toastmaster and a good speaker as well. So he delivered a project from level 3, level 3's first project, and it was about persuasive style or persuasive speaking. And he delivered a wonderful speech about AI. And he persuaded us to think about the results of uh, whatever we asked from the chat GPT, and we honestly rely on the result what chat GPT provides us. So he made us realize that not 100% ChatGPT not always provide 100% results. So it is foolish to blindly rely on ChatGPT results. So he started with a good opening, and he engaged us with his personal story, and the story was between her sister and himself. So her sister called him and asked, "Have you ever used AI tools?" So the best thing about, he brought some crisp humor in his speech, and it was a proper speech with a proper body and with an eye-opening conclusion. Uh, what I love about his speech was he has a beautiful, confident posture. He uses both his hands, and they were perfectly aligned with what he was saying. The only thing which I observed that he could do much better, that he always started his speech with, "Today I'm going to talk about this," or "Today my speech is all about that." This is not required while delivering a speech. You should come up with a good opening statement. There is no, please avoid the background noise. So there's no, means it always catches listeners' attention that with a proper opening. And I observed that he always come up with casual practice. So he should need to practice his speech so that his speech, no doubt, is quite engaging and quite persuasive, but with less practice, it won't do that purpose. So most of the time, there was some filler words and repetitive words. And finally, I would suggest that he has a very good voice, so he used variations in his voice to gauge more engagement. Overall, a wonderful speech delivered. I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Omar Khayyam. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Khan, and for that, as always, a wonderful evaluation. I particularly like the fact that you ventured beyond the evaluation sheet and actually delivered some very focused and specific advice to Toastmasters. And I think this is something that we should attempt to do more often. Perhaps not, of course, focusing on the personal attributes of someone, but attributes that are unique to someone as a speaker. That is far more value added. Our second speaker was DTM Irfan Farooqi, and his evaluation will be done by Toastmaster Hiba Reis Khan. So, DTM Irfan Farooqi delivered a very interesting project because it was a challenge, honestly speaking, to do something like this in 2 to 3 minutes. I don't know how anyone is supposed to compile and then monitor and then write about their personal feelings and then report them in 2 to 3 minutes, but Irfan Farooqi managed that. So over to you, Toastmaster Hiba Reis Khan, for your evaluation.
Okay, can I start?
Yes, sure.
Okay, DTM Irfan Farooqi, while I was evaluating I had received your evaluation sheet, but I was a bit confused as to how to evaluate, the report, the 2 to 3 minute report that you had presented in front of the audience. So I tried my best. So please excuse me if there are any flaws, if you find any flaws or anything in it. Anyways, here goes nothing. During the time you spoke, I stuck to the original, you know, the evaluation sheet. Anyways, during the time you spoke, you had good confidence and clarity. You had good eye contact during the time you spoke, and I found you constantly looking at the camera. There was good audience awareness during your speech. You had good comfort level, and you had constructed your speech well with good examples. And uh, engage the audience with well-constructed content. However, there was some areas of improvement. Firstly, you could have incorporated vocal variety at the correct places in your report. You could have used hand and body gestures to express yourself. Before sharing the report, I thought that before sharing the report, a 2 to 3 minute report, there was as one speech. I suppose you had to, how should I say it? There was a speech that you had presented which was connected with this speech, right? DTM Irfan?
I don't understand what you're saying.
You mean the introduction that he presented?
No, I'm saying, DTM Irfan, there was a speech which was connected with this speech before, right? That's why you present. I hope I'm trying to sound sensible in my question.
I don't get your question. What you are asking,
Okay,
I
I'm
can't
saying
understand.
that the report, the 2 to 3 minute report that you presented in front of the audience this Wednesday, there was a speech which was connected with it before, right?
Teeth was connected. What was
Sorry?
connected? What are you saying? What was teeth was
No,
No, no,
speech,
uh,
speech.
she's
no
asking
act.
if your earlier
There
speech
was
was
a speech connected with it before,
No,
or
no, no,
is
no.
this a completely different thing?
No,
yeah, it's completely
this
different.
project, let me say, let me clear it. The project was that I had
Can
to,
you hold on a second? Let me switch on off the fan because I cannot hear your voice. Now you can say.
actually, the project requirement was that I should write down my moods in a journal for 2 weeks. And after
Okay.
2 weeks, I had to analyze what happened in these 2 weeks. When I was happy, when I was angry, when I was sad, and what were the events when I, at least 5 events, when I felt grateful to God, gratitude to God. So this is what I had to do. I had to write down my moods in 2 weeks. So that is what I did in a journal. I note down every day. I note down today this thing happened that made me happy, or this thing happened that made me sad, or this thing that made me angry. And then I had to summarize all those things in the form of this.
Okay, okay. So this is a completely different thing that you presented, and now I get it. Okay. But during the time I was evaluating, I thought that there was a speech connected with it, which you had presented earlier before. So in the areas of improvement, I wrote that before sharing the report, you should have shared your previous evaluation with me so that my job would have been made easier. I amend that part. Other than that, everything was perfect and everything was well presented. Over to you. Uh, Whoever is the Toastmaster of the day or whoever is presenting.
Okay. Thank you so much. Just to give a bit of feedback, I think the team Irfan, this project is not attempted very often, and it's refreshing to hear it. And it takes a lot of courage to actually present your personal feelings unfiltered, like you did. And that's the entire point of this project. I really love the fact that you presented a story around your feelings. You converted them into a story because that's the most foolproof engagement technique. You convert it into a story. And what you presented were actually very routine happenings of your life, but somehow they were engaging because you have that talent, martial of making that even the most mundane things sound engaging. And I think that's what Toastmasters is also about. Just like photographers find some stunning photographs in the most mundane of settings in everyday life. Toastmasters are supposed to engage the audience through even the most mundane happenings. And you managed to do that. You shared your feelings transparently. And you also then in the end, as was the requirement of the project, you also shared that what did this exercise actually result in. So overall, very well done. Uh, you, I think the one improvement area that perhaps I would recommend to you is that when you introduce the project before actually started speaking, uh, maybe you should have set the stage first that I'm going to say a little about the project itself before, because the timing thing in it. That's the only improvement I can think of. And the introduction that you made was very educative because, again, as I said, this project is not familiar to most of us, so uh, it served very well towards familiarizing the audience with that. So thank you so much. And our next evaluator is Toastmaster Amra Yunus. No, it was actually supposed to be Toastmaster Shahzaid, but he's in the process of joining. I don't know. So perhaps Toastmaster Amra, you can go first. Your evaluation.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yes, I was evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Shahzaid, our very own VP Education. He was presenting project 2 of level 1 from his pathway presentation mastery. Well, he uh, chose a very thoughtful topic to deliver his project. That was respect. And he uh, weaved his speech around a story. In fact, in the beginning, he related the point of respect with the Toastmaster, that how we all are making difference in each other's life by being respectful to each other and ideas and all the moves that we have. Then he related to this topic with the story of a girl from his acquaintances who was newly married, and she was outrightly rejected by the in-laws because she didn't meet the beauty standard of the family, and how painful this would have been remained. He just portrayed and he just explained to the audience, and then he also included in his speech that how the attitude, the positive actions of the girl made her in-laws accept her and even respect her more than ever. So this he delivered in a very beautiful manner. What I liked in his speech was his stage confidence. He was standing tall, and he used his hand gestures to make his speech impactful. And what I noticed it was very good thing in his speech was his his eye contact with the audience, that he being the online speaker, he did it through making it with the camera. Um, what I think that he can challenge himself for the next projects is by adding more vocal variety and facial expressions. So actually what happens that we all know that delivering a speech is something that you have to have many things in your mind going on. So sometimes you keep up with one thing, that you lose another thing. What I would suggest him, that he delivers those uh, parts in his speech where he feels that where actually he wants his audience to feel. So if he wants the sad expression on his audience face, so he can demonstrate it through his own expressions, and the same goes with the vocal variety. Overall, it was a wonderful speech, I would say, and we can take it as a model for the speakers. By incorporating these things, he can make his speeches more impactful and can excel at these things. So thank you so much. Over to you, DT Abdallah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amra. I think you highlighted something very important that all of us should be mindful of, and that is it takes far more effort to get through to an audience, to an online meeting. And of course, Shahzaid always has to be online because he lives in Islamabad. But at the same time, what I noticed in his speech was, of course, the eye contact and everything is there. You always get the sense that he's speaking directly to you. And that is something very, very hard to accomplish by an online speaker. His voice is not naturally high. He doesn't throw his voice very much. But even when he's speaking a little bit low, you listen closely and you lean in. And that's what creates the connection. So that is also a device. Instead of just making your voice loud and throwing it, you can, and that's something that the online medium enables you to do. You must have seen very many speeches where speakers have come close to the camera, they've whispered to you. That kind of intimacy, that kind of one-to-one connection, that is enabled by online, and it should be used more often, especially if one is making routine online speeches. So, and speak of the devil. We were just speaking about you, Toastmaster Shade. Thank you so much for joining. Uh, so, uh, Toastmaster Amra, if you could just briefly, maybe in 30 seconds to 1 minute, summarize the key points of your evaluation. Shazeb will see the recording, of course.
Yeah, and I will share in writing as well.
Right.
I had, yeah. So yes, of course, the wonderful speech. The best thing was the story inclusion, and narrating it this way. Secondly, his stage confidence, eye contact with the camera. And what I suggested is that if he works more on his facial expressions and somehow on the vocal variety, so he would excel and become a very impactful speaker. Yeah. So this was actually ideal. And I'm sharing in writing and sending to Toastmaster Shazib directly.
Thank you. I think today Toastmaster Shazib is also competing in the. Is it the division contest, Shazib?
No, sir, it's an area contest, sir.
Area contest. And you're representing in international speech contest, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Great, great, great. So this is a funny situation where he's competing in a different area, but he has the support and prayers of Karachi Toastmasters Club. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Shazib, for joining. Are you ready to go ahead with your evaluation?
Yes, just give me a second, please.
Okay, fine. We can go ahead with another evaluation in the meantime, and then you can. Okay. So I think I'll go ahead with my evaluation of the the speech, and let me put on the timer for myself. Okay. So DTM Surface
Yes,
delivered.
sir, I'm ready. Can I?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Your time is more precious today.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Means a lot. So, can I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Toastmaster Tehseen Fatma delivered a wonderful speech on Wednesday. He started with a question. I remember the question, music has a language. Do, do you think it's emotions? And then she waited for the answer. And she started engaging and the pauses were very beautiful. She is very nice speaker. She did some amazing things.
His voice is breaking.
Then,
Your voice is breaking,
she was
Akram
talking
Shakir.
and people,
Shazib,
We
your
can't
voice
hear
is-
you.
your voice
uh,
is-
out. With the
I think we should, if Tessie, you and Amra can turn off your videos. And Shazib is okay if you can start again.
Okay, so I'm starting it again. Is it
Yeah,
clear now?
now it's much better, much better. Please start again. I'll reset your
Okay,
time.
so thank you so much. This was Tahsin Fatma for delivering such a beautiful speech, and we all were enjoying your speech. In the start of your speech, you ask a question, a very relatable question: that do you people believe that Do people think that music has a language which deflects our emotions? It was a great question to hook the audience, and we all were completely engaged in your speech. And then you started in a beautiful way with the imagination. You took pauses. The pauses were very beautiful. You are a very nice speaker, but it doesn't seem that you are a new speaker. Um, I think you must have some past experience of delivering the speeches or presentation. Uh, but the pauses really inspired me, and the way you move your hands, took the pauses, let feel the audience the things. So it was amazing. And then you were talking about that people were saying to you about that you are a woman, you can't speak loud, you can't demand, and the repetition of the words "do not, do not, do not, do not." It was amazing. I loved it. Okay, and then you again ask a question about that what is the date of today, and then you said that I am healed with the power of I. Amazing story, amazing speech. Just two recommendations from my side. The first one is the body language. I know you were stuck and in the office or somewhere else, and you didn't join KTC meeting physically, but again, I would recommend that if you could stand up in front of the camera and use your body language, that would be more better. Uh, your voice was also sometime a little monotonous, and that was because of your body language. I think so that because monotonous body creates monotonous voice. So it would be better in the future to stand up in front of the camera and at least show your half of the body and your hand gestures. The second suggestion is a very important one, and it is about your the project was about understanding your communication styles. So you have to tell us about 4 or 5 communication styles. That there are 4 communication styles: sportive, direct, initiative, uh, and democratic. So, and then you have to tell us about what is your communication style is. That is what is your project was. So, I would suggest it would be better if you could give it a strike again. Otherwise, all in all, a very wonderful speech. You nailed it. You used your emotions and your vocal variety. All the things were there, but the requirements were a little different. So best of luck, and hoping to see you in the next week again, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Usman Sahib. And again, you always manage to surprise this how deeply you connect with the speaker, what they need to do, and what they're doing on stage, despite being remote and not being able to witness in person. We were just talking about you before you joined, that whenever you speak, it seems that you are speaking directly to us, even though you're speaking through a screen. And even when you evaluate, it seems as if you're sitting right before the speaker instead of sitting. So, congratulations. I'm sure that Toastmasters Testing, I think whatever improvement areas were there because you found yourself in a situation that was not desirable, right? And everything can be chopped. But again, yeah, I concur with Toastmaster Chade that by no means this is your early steps in public speaking. You must have been practicing public speaking earlier. So no, we don't believe. So because mashallah, the way you come across so confident and so I would say so. I'm forgetting the word now, but uh, you don't have any fear. At least it doesn't appear to be done. Don't have any fear of fumbling or fear of the audience. So of course, some of that must have something to do with your line of career. So that is also you must have those traits. That's why you are doing what you do. So again, congratulations. And now we move on to the next evaluation, which was by DTM. The speech was by DTM Sarfraz. And before I start the evaluation, I must say that that person knows how to come up with speech ideas. And we should all learn from him, because he will usually come up with an idea that you never ever thought about that they could be put into a Toastmasters speech, right? So this time he came up with an idea of offsetting Toastmasters fees. And the second talent that DTM Sarfraz has is that his speech topic connects so supremely to the immediate situation. So we went through a renewal cycle, and of course, we had a talk about how difficult it is to renew. Uh, it's not easy. And even then, the members, mashallah, stepped up, and for the first time in KTC history, I think, we completed more than 20 renewals before March 30th. And it may sound like an ordinary thing, but those of us who have been with KTC for a few years know that it is by no means easy. Especially in a community club, it's far difficult, more difficult to come by any community club, because people are voluntarily paying and not any company. So, and he connected very well. We were all there monitoring as the renewals were being announced, and he created a speech around that. So let me just start the conversation. First of all, DTM Sarfraz, I think I must thank you for the speech topic first and foremost, because this is not just about offsetting Toastmasters fee. This is about having a little bit of additional income to ease our financial. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You excelled at humor about news. The way you weave humor into everyday situations is excellent. You made it very relatable to all of us. And what I admire the most about you is how you put yourself in the shoes of the people you are addressing. For example, objectively speaking, you're mashallah living in the USA, you have a successful career, and there, $60 is not that huge an amount for 6 months. But even then, you managed to put yourself in our shoes in Pakistan and thought from our perspective. You know what most expats do when they discuss things with us, when they come into Pakistan and when they start discussing the situation, they start with, you people should be, and that's where I lose. You people means that they have no clue about, and they're not willing to, by the way, put up or understand the realities of the you do. So you created humor, and you ended up giving us some very sage advice. Also, you related specific anecdotes to illustrate each and every strategy that you gave. And that is also something that we are missing from most of such speeches, not in Toastmasters, but elsewhere as well. You should do this, you should do that. Where's the example? Where your real life scenario? And you managed to put your real life scenarios against each and every such situation. So congratulations. Areas of improvement. Now, we were just talking about it, that via an online medium, perhaps you need to amplify your voice and facial expression a little bit more. I know sometimes it can verge on being looking ridiculous, fish, and that's the last thing a speaker want to look. But sometimes you need to over dramatize in order to get through the screen. Also, I think that perhaps you could have adopted a more personalized narrative in the first place. Could have told the stories through the medium of I did this, I did that, rather than members can do this, members can do that. Perhaps that would have been more engaging, but again, that's just a nitpick. To challenge yourself, nothing much except maybe perhaps find a way to during the speech, because you're mostly centered around a common point in the speech. So that was my evaluation. Congratulations, DTM Surpass. Thank you for another amazing project that ended up enhancing our life skills. Progress. So now it's time for our last evaluation of the day. We covered, yes, we covered everyone else. So Toastmaster are for us. It is your turn to evaluate my project. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. After listening to DTM Talha's speech, what stood out the most to me was his descriptive style. As he said, the wind was rustling outside, slowed down, the birds quieted. It painted such a vivid scene, almost as if we were right there. I loved DTM Talha's use of language. Every single word had weight. His confidence was inspiring, and it was clear he genuinely enjoyed being on stage. His body language was expressive, and his stage movement made his speech even more engaging. And I'm 100% sure you all noticed the fascinating title of his speech, didn't you? Well, when I first saw the title, Solar Powered Darkness, I was instantly curious about it. Seems like a paradox, combining two contradictory concepts: solar power, which represents light, and darkness, which represents the absence of light. It made me curious to see how he would connect these ideas in his speech. Other than the title, his opening was even more powerful. He instantly hooked the audience by saying, "The clock stopped at 11." A silence fell on all of us, which made us so eager to hear more. What made it even more impactful was how relatable the speech was. As power outages are something we all face, but what made it even more compelling was how he connected each problem with a new layer of struggle. From the inconvenience of load shedding, to switching on the generator, to dealing with high gas bills, and finally considering solar energy. All that kept the audience invested in where the story was going. DTM Talha, I really enjoyed the story and your delivery was fantastic. However, there are a few areas that could be improved. While your pauses were powerful and added impact to your message, there were moments when the pace seemed a bit too fast and the pauses felt too short, almost like a blink of an eye. Try extending them a bit longer, just like taking a breath. It would give the audience more time to reflect on your words. Secondly, if I talk about your speech content, you ended by saying, "The more you struggle, the more the odds rise." Yes, that's true. No matter what solution we come with, that solution has its own challenges. But to leave the audience with a more uplifting feeling, you could end on a more powerful, hopeful, and positive note, offering solutions or encouragement. Overall, it was a fantastic, amazing, and exceptional speech. I truly admire your descriptive style, the vivid language you used, your expressive hand gestures. It was truly captivating from start to finish. But if you make a few small adjustments, like ending your speech on a positive note, slowing down the pace at times, and slightly extending your pauses, it could make your message even more impactful. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, for stunning evaluation. Honestly, I did not want it to end, and the way you spoke and the words that you used was better than anything I do in speech. Thank you, and yes, thank you for your improvement areas. I also do believe after making this speech that I was initially going for a shocking conclusion that was supposed to be humorous, that no matter what you do, new problems arise. I did think that it did end up sounding much, I mean, very dark and negative, and that's not the way you should be. So thank you for identifying that. Now we'll just float the poll for the best evaluator, and please vote for at least two of your favorite evaluators. Unfortunately, Toastmaster Alpha, you overshot your time, but I absolutely love your evaluation. So please vote for your favorite evaluator, and then we'll conclude the session. Has everyone voted for at least two evaluators?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Great. So the poll has ended, and after a tough competition, Toastmaster Imran Rana has emerged as the winner. So congratulations, Toastmaster Imran. And with that, with thorough gratitude, we bring this meeting to an end. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there and for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, BDM Irfan
Allah
Saab.
Hafiz.
Sincerely appreciate your presence.